Hello everyone, welcome back to Acting History. Today we will talk about the Turkish-Australian sniper duel, from Gallipoli, from the Great War. To find out the past of this duel, don't go anywhere and stay until the end of the video. The Gallipoli Campaign, also known as the Dardanelles Campaign, the Battle of Gallipoli or the Battle of Çanakkale, was a World War I campaign that took place between the 25th of April, 1915 and the 9th of January, 1916 in the Gallipoli Peninsula, Gelibolu in modern Turkey, from the Ottoman Empire. The peninsula forms the northern bank of the Dardanelles, a strait that provided a sea route to the Russian Empire, one of the warring states of the Entente. Intending to gain control of this route, the allies of Russia, the United Kingdom and France, launched a naval attack followed by a landing on the peninsula, in order to capture the Ottoman capital Constantinople, now Istanbul. The naval attack was repulsed and, after 8 months of fighting, with many losses on both sides, the ground campaign was abandoned, and the invading force was withdrawn to Egypt. Gallipoli was the scene of one of the most famous sniper confrontations in the Great War. Among the Australians, Billy Singh, on his full name, William Edward Singh, a soldier from the 5th Regiment, Light Cavalry, a small man of Anglo-Chinese descent, gained respect. His voluntary entry into the army could have been compromised by both his inadequate physical constitution and the attitude of his contemporaries in the Australian army, who were largely reserved for Asian individuals. The officer in charge of recruiting postponed him, but on the 24th of October, 1914, all the rules and prejudices were set aside and Singh was enlisted. An experienced kangaroo hunter and skilled in distance shooting, Singh rewarded the Australian army for his admission with a record of 150 Turks killed in Gallipoli, but according to some estimates his score could reach 300. An observer from Singh's sniper team, Ian Aldrius, later recalled how the assassin, one of his nicknames, preferred a well-closed position in the Turkish trenches, where he could no longer be threatened by enemy artillery. Quote, when he or one of his friends or comrades in arms rebuked the number of enemy soldiers killed that day, Billy remembered and reminded us of the first days of landing on the peninsula, when the Turks mercilessly shot many of our officers. However, he never fired at those carrying the wounded or at those trying to save his comrades who had been hit. The quote is over. Singh soon became famous among the rocky outcrops of Gallipoli on both sides. His rifle, Lee-Enfield 303, caused both demoralization and a sense of futility among the Turks. That is why the Ottoman Army Command decided to liquidate, at all costs, the ace of the Australian snipers. The first opportunity for Singh to fall victim came on a hot August morning in 1915. He and one of his observers, Tom Sheehan, were quietly lurking in the enemy's sleepy soldiers. Even the Australians were not fully focused at the time. One of the sniper observer pair made an erroneous unmasking move, and a deafening shot was heard on the Turkish side. The Turkish bullet went through Sheehan's magnifying glass, injuring both his hands, passed in front of him and then reminded Singh that he was mortal, hitting him in the shoulder, but the Anzac sniper ace recovered only after a week. Then the Turks had to beat their most important ace. This is how the sniper arrived in Gallipoli, decorated by the Sultan of Turkey himself, nicknamed by the Entente soldiers, Abdul the Frightful. The fears of the Australians were reinforced by the testimonies of the prisoners and excerpts from the Turkish daily press, which emphatically announced the arrival of their hero. Immediately after his arrival, Abdul took the initiative to analyze the shots fired at the bodies of the Turkish soldiers killed by the sniper Singh, in order to establish in detail his space for action. Then he decided to permanently hack his rival in the Chatham's Post region, where he spent many hours sitting passively. He ignored neither the military nor the reckless officers, but waited only for Singh. Singh's observer fortunately managed to locate Abdul in time and shoot him to his experienced partner. Then the Australian removed the dividing wall of the rampart from the trenches and, objectively, quickly searched for the opponent's hiding place. At that moment, the Turkish sniper spotted Singh, hurriedly aiming at him. They were both determined to carry on the duel to the end, at any cost, even though they both knew that the rival knew the other's position and had him in the lid. In the end, luck was on Singh's side, as he managed to shoot faster. The Turkish sniper's life was ended by the Australian bullet, which pierced his forehead. After the triumph, Singh barely escaped the furious fire, fired by the humiliated enemy artillery. Towards the end of the war, Singh married a Scottish woman, but the relationship did not last long. We must add that he went through the war with only a few wounds and returned to Australia. Following work in sheep farming and gold mining, he died in relative poverty, in Brisbane, in 1943 at the age of 57, forgotten by the world. If you liked this material, click the like button. You can share or leave a comment in the section for them. Subscribe and turn on the bell to keep up to date with the new videos. Follow our journey.